those are. So, as you mentioned, you can get them in a variety of shapes and sizes. This is like the one they have at Skagit Farm Supply there. This is like the ones that we're showing over here. When you start getting something larger, I mean, if you're in Stanwood, go buy Skagit Farm Supply. Look at the cistern things that they have for water collection, because they have quite large systems too. Not that you want to spend a couple $1,000 on buying a huge water thing, but then again, you might, depending on your needs. When you start getting into a lot larger thing, like 5,000 pounds or 5,000 gallons, the county might be stepping in and saying, we need you to get a permit. The reason being is, if you had 5,000 gallons, you're looking at 40,000 pounds, which is 20 tons, and 20 tons in any one location on your property, it could cause some sinking, some damage. If you put it on your deck, you can end up with the deck on the ground. It could be all sorts of really fascinating, interesting things going on there. But there are all sorts of things that you can get like that. Now you want to think about where you're going to locate the barrel. You could take one and stand it alone. The beach watcher coordinator in Snohomish County, she lives in Seattle, and she has several like this that are just set out in her garden, all around her garden, which collects rain from the sky. Now, it would take a lot of inches of rain to fill up something like this, having it there. So I don't really think it's that efficient. But the water is pure. You don't have the fecal coliforms or problems like that, or very little chance. Most people put it next to a downspout, a house, barn, shed, garage, all of the above. And what they do, well, what you want to think of is if it's near where you're going to water. I've seen people position a water barrel and then think, hold on, the garden is way around the other side of the house. You want to keep it somewhere in close distance. For one thing, it's the gravity. If you have it low on one part of the property and the garden is elevated in another part of the property, you're not going to get any water flow from your hose on up to that property. So you want to try to keep it at a higher spot of your property, or right next to where you're going to be using the water. Now you have to have it elevated for gravity pressure. And also, as I mentioned, to have a watering can beneath it. Typically your spigot is going to be down low, and unless you have it elevated, you can't put something like that there, or you can't go and hook up your hose, not without bending over and hurting your back, which a lot of us probably would do doing that. This is a wood box. Don't use a wood box. I was at one demonstration, and I was telling this woman, or I was telling everybody, don't use a wood apple crate. I just do that because we usually use cinder blocks. And you can use anything else heavy like that or strong, or you can build a platform like they did right over there on the thing. The thing is, doing enough of these demonstrations and carrying 2 cinder blocks, and you're real tired. Your hands get all messed up doing that too, so I quit doing that. But I gave a demonstration. I told everybody, don't use a wooden apple crate. And at the very end of it, some woman said to me, so, I can go and put an apple crate under there? No! So if you do put an apple crate, I'll come by your house and I'll take away your rain barrel. So anyway, you want to make sure that it's elevated. And there are different examples of that. And you'll see some other examples of it further on in the demonstration there. And you can have it elevated at different levels, and there are purposes for that. Now, what you see right here is a strap like you have in a hot water heater. And as I mentioned, this has the same amount of water as a hot water heater, same amount of weight as a hot water heater. And if you have something like that, and you have any little kids around, grandkids, neighbor kids, anything else, and they come on up, they're going to go, cool, what's that? And they're going to start climbing on it, because that's what kids do. And if they pull that over on themselves, that's 400 pounds. That can hurt someone very quickly. So if you do have any chance of having kids in the area, and you have it elevated, and it's something that could be pulled over, think about strapping it somehow. So, how will water into the top? If you take and look at the brochure that was handed out, or any other brochure, or any other thing on the web, or any other book, they will tell you exactly what hardware to buy, what size to buy, everything else. And all I say is, be creative. Do whatever you want. As long as you get the water in, get the water out, make sure it overflows. You can do it any darn way you want with whatever you want. The main thing is you want to make sure it's screened in the top, however you do it. And one reason for that is to keep out fir needles and pine needles and leaves and all that. The other main reason in this area is to keep mosquitoes out, because that's a prime breeding ground for mosquitoes. So if you don't have a brochure, my wife is handing one out. So here is an example right here of a barrel that's open top. It's food grade. When you first get it, you want to scrub it out, wash it if you can with soap and water. Something like this is a lot harder because you don't have an open top. But you can still squirt water in there and get some suds and rinse it all out thoroughly. But you just want to make sure you... What the heck happened there? Oh, maybe I did it. Oh, there you go. So anyway, you just want to make sure that it's clean inside and doesn't have a bunch of residual stuff. Janet Hall, our Wastewise coordinator, several years ago, she managed to get a couple of flatbed trucks full of jalapeno pepper barrels from some manufacturer, and she carted them down to Kama, and that was before Kama had started all the construction and was finished, and they were stored there, and word went out that anybody could come down and get a free barrel or two, and they were gone within a couple of weeks. So, and then, again, a couple flatbed trucks full. It was great. So anyway, you want to make sure it's screened. Now, how do you screen something like this easily? What you can do, you can make something like this. That doesn't look too difficult right there. The other thing you can do is get some screening material like you have for a window screen or door screen. This is a simple nylon type right there. They have the metal kind too. You can take a bungee cord like this, and all you have to do is just wrap it around and attach it, and the other bungee cord is shorter. But anyway, you get the idea. And then you end up with a screen top. Now, because it's a big open top, you can have the water coming in from any direction. It's pretty easy to get it in there. You won't often find an open top barrel like this. You'll probably more likely find a barrel like this or this that had bung type things in there that screwed on in. And what you can do there, well, I'll show you several examples. What I would advise first is to go around your garage, go around your workshop, look in your junk drawer. If you have a basement, go around your basement and look around at what you have stashed that you thought, someday I might have a use for this. And this is a day when you'll have a use for it. So what you have here, I had enlarged that hole a little bit with a little saber saw. What you have here is the kind of louvered vent that you have on the side of a house to provide ventilation. Got that from Hamilton. By the way, a lot of these parts I want to mention, if you go to a big box store like Lowe's or Home Depot, you often won't find the parts you need, because, especially gutter and downspout parts, because usually now you'll find that they carry one brand in one size, and all the attachments only fit that size that they sell. And I think that's because they have wholesale jobbers who'll come and stock the shelves for them. They don't have to worry about it anymore. But the variety is out. So I was looking for some parts, just some regular old, normal, old-timey downspout parts, round or the little metal ones like this. I couldn't find them anywhere. I finally went down to Hamilton there in Stanwood, and out in that back shed area they have quite a few different parts, including these right here. I'm not endorsing anyone commercially, but I'm just saying the best place to find something.